Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Module 2. This week and next week, we'll be digging into a larger text, and I love that we get to do that. Even in a traditional 15-week semester, it can be hard to figure out how to fit in a novel. So it's particularly challenging for us to squeeze one in to just over half that space. And I'm glad we're doing so because working with a novel gives us a much bigger picture, a much bigger set of data to work with in our explorations. So we'll be reading My Antonia by Cather. This novel dates from 1918. So to start with, we have to recognize that its publishing date pushes our boundaries nearly 2 decades closer to us than any of our readings from last week. So we can take that as progress. If you look at the overview from modules 2 and 3, you'll see that our course designer selected this novel for a couple of reasons. One was to highlight the work of women authors and what they were beginning to do that they could not really do before and still be published. And I'm on board with this. The second thing we're supposed to get out of studying Cather is a view of the literary movement naturalism. And just to be forthright, I'm less on board with this. And I'm going to explain more about that in my announcements and in my responses during our study of this novel. But for now, I just wanted to point this out as an example for you all and the way that you interact with expertise in the form of scholarly research, in the form of reading your editors from your textbook, and in the form of listening to me. Literary studies is an interpretive field. And that means that when we assign a book or an author to a category, like naturalism, that this is not done in the same way that we might assign, say in biology, an animal specimen to a particular phylum. It's not a fact about the author, but rather our assessment of it. So here's the thing. I just don't think that Cather is a naturalist author. I'm not likely to change my opinion on that during this course. However, for argumentative purposes, I can see how we can get to ideas of naturalism by studying her work. And that's going to work for us. What I want you to recognize is that, like me, you are always free to have your own opinions about what's going on and make the connections that make sense to you. The only thing we ever ask in literary studies is that you have evidence to answer the why behind what you think. All right? So I do think that Cather is an excellent choice to fill in this space in literary history. She makes a great bridge from the local color we've just been studying into elements that are heading much more into modernist territory. Along the way, we can talk about how naturalism, which was concurrent to the last popular days of local color, also flavored literature as it was to develop in the years prior to World War I. So look forward to that. I am professionally a specialist in naturalism, so be prepared to hear more than you want on this subject. Before we go any further, though, I wanted to talk to you about one of our assignments for Module 2. We have only one graded assignment for this module, our discussion for this week. However, you will also see a project listed as 2.2 Final Research Paper Outline. So I wanted you to be aware of this. This outline is not due until the end of Module 3. However, the reason this assignment notation is here is that you will be best served by putting some early planning into this, particularly in figuring out what texts you actually want to research and write about. At this stage, we really haven't read very widely in the course. So the thing to do is to sit down, take some time, look over the readings that are coming, and maybe actually skim through some or look for ones that you're already familiar with or interested in. Now, it may seem kind of crazy to start projecting about the paper you will write when you haven't even gotten the text read yet. But if I'm honest, this is often the way that academic projects get done. We all have things, and by we, I mean, academic professionals. We all have things that we want to write about, but academics also have an agenda to be published, all right? So the easiest way to get published is to take part in research that's already in progress, that's already set up for publication, and it's been started by other people. So, for instance, the last article I wrote was an answer to an editor who was looking for a piece on naturalist fiction written from the eco-critical perspective. I did not have such an article written. I did not have such an article researched, and I did not have such an article planned. However, when I saw they were looking for such a thing, I supposed that I could do it, and I sent a note outlining how I proposed to do so. So that's pretty much what you're being asked to do too. Only at that point did I sit down, start researching, start taking notes, and figuring out how to get that article put together. So what I'm asking you to do is to start by just looking over the coming readings and start supposing what kind of article you might get out of one of them. Your work in building the outline will boil that down into some hypothetical detail, showing that you have thought things through. But as I say, that actual outline is not due until the end of module 3. So for now, just start thinking, just start supposing, all right? So as always, if you need to get a hold of me, if you have any questions about anything, by all means, let me know, and we will take care of them. Otherwise, until next time.